Uta Surkau. I'm working as a technical writer in Renesas, which is a semiconductor company, a Japanese semiconductor company, and we got acquired some years ago, and now we are learning the way how it is to work in a very huge company. Well, as a technical writer, I support my fellow my colleagues. They are engineers and they are designing the circuits, so the little tiny semiconductors that you later on, you don't see them, but you use them daily in your mobile phone or in your PC, or we even have some that go into, let's say, backlight lighting for televisions, or we have lots of stuff that also goes into cars. My colleagues, they design these chips and then we sell them on to other customers. Then these guys, the other engineers in the companies that actually buy our chips, they have to understand how to work them, or let's say how to use these chips. So what my colleagues do, they write so-called data sheets and user manuals and application notes. And to make these then fit to how we want to present ourselves as a company, we have to make sure as technical writers that they use the right templates so that they have the right look and feel, and also that the language is correct. I mean, we are writing English, and I do have a lot of colleagues who are non-native speakers, so we have to make sure that the English is correct, that it looks good in terms of our writing rules. So we have certain rules that we should follow, and of course the engineers, they don't care about this, and that's where we as technical writers come in to fix that and make sure that it looks and reads good, and this way that we are presenting our company in a good way. I probably have a rather unusual career journey because as a kid I really loved reading. So I started out actually training as a librarian for public libraries. There was a distinction at that time when I did that, so you could either go into scientific libraries or public libraries. I chose the public libraries because I was always fascinated on the one hand by books and all the information that's stored there, but also to kind of get it out to people. Anyway, so I trained as a librarian, but then I realized that was not really deep enough for me. So I wanted to do something else, and languages or whatever, you ask 5 people a question, you get 5 different answers. So I wanted to go into natural sciences because I really liked math when I was at school. So that kind of made it easy. And then it was like, oh no, biology I didn't want, chemistry I didn't want. So I settled for physics, made a master in physics. And then when I was almost finishing my master, I started looking for a job. And the funny thing is, then I realized I do have a very unique set of capabilities. On the one hand, the customer focus from the librarian, and also like looking for information, deciding what is useful for that particular customer. And then on the other hand, also understanding technique, science. And that was really brilliant to put that together as a technical writer. And so I started actually a job in a software company. We were doing logistics software, and there I also got exposed to what it means to translate this. So my native language is German. I've always been writing in English. I do know Spanish and Swedish, and so you get kind of an understanding what it means when something is translated wrongly. Like when we looked at the German translation, there was something they had used the wrong word, and then I had to change that. And so you kind of understand, oh, you really have to use the right terms because otherwise it doesn't work out. Anyway, from that on, I went to telecommunication. I worked for quite some years in the telecommunication area. And then last but not least, I switched over to semiconductors, which I've now been working for about 11 plus years. And it's very interesting to switch between the different industries and just to see what is important there and learn something new about it. No, actually, it's a funny thing. I have 2 kids and my son studies physics as well. And when I asked him, what do you want to do later? He said, wrong question. And he's absolutely right, because just before I finished or after finishing, I realized that there is this combination to put my knowledge together. And I wouldn't have known about the job as a technical writer before. I didn't know that it exists, so I didn't know that I was, let's say, studying to become a technical writer. But at the end, I found this job because it's simply fun doing it. I would definitely say be brave. try things out and go for something that really interests you. Because the thing is, you never know where you end up, and you never know what you're going to use or what you're going to need later on in terms of what you have learned. And it is much more fun if you do something that actually interests you and that kind of gives you satisfaction than just going for a certain career path because it gives you, let's say, I don't know, lots of money or prestige or whatnot. You're not going to be happy there. So dare to do something. Dare also to, let's say, defy your parents. They send you down a certain path and then you realize, no, it's not really mine. So be brave, try things out, and go for what actually you want to do because it's your life.